Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Since Tekken 8 is never going to happen, it's never going to be announced, revealed, and released, I thought we should talk about Tekken 9. Well, first, let me say this. In Tekken 8, I in no way think Kazuya will die. And I also think he should not die. Even though I made videos in the past saying which one would die. Would Jin be the one who finally loses? He's always shown to be better than Heihachi, than Kazuya. Will Kazuya be able to defeat him? Get a one-up? Me personally, I don't think so. I think in the moment of truth, Jin will prevail. But at the same time, I don't think Kazuya will die either. I think it's too soon for him to die. One, the first reason, Heihachi just died. If Heihachi is truly dead, like if he's really gone this time, it would be very odd for them to kill off Kazuya in the next game. Literally, right after. I feel like that would undercut the story so much. There's so much that would be lost. Keeping Kazuya alive can greatly benefit the story in so many different ways. They can push that character down so many different paths. They can make him more of a villain. They can make him a hero. They can, think about it. Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. He was the most villainous scum on the earth. But by the end of the series, he was one of the best heroes. He was one of the best characters in that show. Some people say he's one of the best characters in television history. He's up there, way up there. Now, I'm not saying Kazuya can achieve that same level of perfection, but they can try something with that if they really wanted to. One thing that I touched on in the past video, what triggered all of this Mishima Zaibatsu hatred and feuding was Heihachi throwing Kazuya down the cliff. Kazuya's whole anger and hatred and everything comes from that moment. And that moment is settled. It's over. That's what Tekken 7 was about. Him getting revenge. Him killing him. And it's like, you have to wonder now, what will he do to Jin? Will he say, you know, my beef is no longer with you. We don't have to be friends, but, you know, I wanted Heihachi gone, and I did that. Or, and this is something that, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they touched on this a few times. Some of his motives also lied in the fact that they both have the devil gene. And at times, I don't know if this is the devil within both of them or if this is Kazuya's own wishes. But it seems like at times he wants to capture Jin so he have another devil gene host to work on. Maybe his next motives will be to try and capture Jin and try to further his own research and maybe become immortal. That's something that Heihachi was chasing, immortality. Will Kazuya fall down that path as well? I think they should go in a different direction. I think after Tekken 8, I would like to see something totally new added into the mix. Tekken 8 can be about Jin and Kazuya. Maybe throw in some Jun Kazama, maybe throw in some Angel, but in Tekken 9, I really want it to be fresh. Fresh right from the store, right off that truck from the farm, crunch when he bite into it. That is what I want Tekken 9 to be. I have a poll here. It says the next future protagonist for Tekken 9. Now, this is kind of interesting here because for those of you who don't know, there's protagonist and there's antagonist. Protagonist is the hero. Protagonist is the quote-unquote good guy. Then you have the antagonist, which is always the bad guy. For example, Batman is the protagonist. Joker is the antagonist because he's always antagonizing Batman. So it's saying, this poll, who's going to be the next good guy if something was to happen to Jin? Let's read. Tekken 1 was Kazuya. Then, second game, roles were reversed between him and Heihachi. So years later, Jin becomes the new protagonist from 3 to 5, but then Lars comes in when Jin goes evil. Of course, 7 goes drama when Kazuya finally ends Heihachi, and 8 will start the Kazama saga between the father and son. So the question is, who will be the next protagonist in a possible future of a Tekken 9? Perhaps someone almost like Luke Sullivan of Street Fighter. 317 votes on this. Let's see. Okay, so I'll talk about my theories, my wishes, because it's not on here. Then we'll talk about the poll. So the first character that comes to mind, Asuka. I think Asuka is a very likely candidate. I recently touched on her story, and the main aspect that stood out to me was this healing aura she had. Some unknown ability I never seen. All my time spent on Twitter, on Reddit, researching Tekken, I never seen anyone mention that power. What is it? Where does it come from? A lot of people say it runs in the Kazama bloodline. I feel like that power is going to come to the forefront of the story soon. I don't know if in Tekken 8, Asuka will do something and use her powers then, or in Tekken 9 that will be her big moment. But I feel like that power that the Kazamas hold, I feel like at some point in time that's going to come back in a big way. And I think either Asuka or Jun Kazama, I don't know if they do bring back Jun Kazama. I don't know what her purpose will be after Jin and Kazuya is resolved, right? She comes back and she say, hey, both of you guys stop fighting. They stop fighting. What do she do next is the big question. So I would probably say Asuka could play a huge role. Another thing I would say, you also have the Polish Prime Minister. I always have to bring her up because Harada says she will play a big role in the future. That is very ambiguous. We don't know if that's one event, if that's one game, or we don't know if that's over the course of a few games, right? If she will be chasing Jin for multiple games or something like that. We don't know what those words, how true those words actually are, but I do have to mention her as well. You also could talk about Claudio, him chasing Devil Jin, him trying to eliminate the Devil Gene. You could talk about Zafina. Zafina also feels like it. She herself is a ticking time bomb. Walking around with Azel in her arm, she feels she has to get rid of Jin and Kazuya as soon as possible. It was in her story. I covered it a while ago, but there's many characters who can take on that main role in Tekken 9. Let's look at the poll. 90 votes on this. A kid of Jin and Zhao Yu. Now here's the thing. Zhao Yu is 18. Jin is 21. The only way I can really see this being a thing if they really do a time skip. I know there's a big portion of the community that wants them to do a time skip. It doesn't have to be right after Tekken 7 because the way Tekken 7 ended, it looks like Jin is going to be hunting down Kazuya eventually or immediately. They could do a time skip after the fact. Maybe someone gets locked up, maybe someone gets captured, and then 3 years later they break out. So there could be a time skip in there, but the only way I see them introducing a kid of Jin and Zhao Yu, they would definitely need to do a time skip. If not, the story is going to get real weird. I mean, Tekken is already weird, but that's going to be a new level of weird. New level. But also, the reason why I go against this is because I don't think it's time. I don't think it's time for Jin and Zhao Yu to have a kid because their story is so underdeveloped. Their relationship with one another is, yes, we can see the plots and the stories and things like that intertwined, but really I feel like it's undercooked. And if they were going in that direction, they're going to need a lot more screen time of both of these characters together, working together, fighting together. I feel like throwing a kid in the mix is skipping a couple of steps, right? Big steps. Because like I said, that kind of undercuts Asuka and her power, that undercuts Zhao Yu. imagine that. Zhao Yu is basically a child. She's been in love with Jin, and she's been trying to chase him around and help him get better. What kind of effect will that have on her herself, right? That's kind of what I want to see explored, is everyone who's been either trying to help Jin or been trying to run away from him or whatever. I want to see more of how the world is affected by the Mishima clan. I don't really just want them to keep pushing, okay, now now Jin has a kid. Okay, now Jin's kid has a kid. I want to see the world and how the world is, affected. That's why I really liked about Josie's story and Giga's story. Those stories are sort of world building. Giga's, it's kind of like a Cold War style. It's like a Cold War styled story where you have the G Corporation and Mishima Zaibatsu both trying to one up each other. Josie's story, it showed a different aspect of the Mishima Zaibatsu. We normally see them destroying and, blowing stuff up. But in her story, they went to her country and literally saved, we have to imagine, thousands, if not maybe a million. Well, I don't know how many people are in Philippines. I don't know the actual country size, but they went there and they saved them. That's what the story said, right? So that's what I want to see. World building. I don't really agree with the idea of get another character in there to get the story going. We have enough characters. We have so many characters in the story right now, and so many of them are being underused. So stop adding characters and start developing the ones that we have. That's basically my point. 76 votes, Lars Alexander. Now, this by far is probably the best bet. I think Tekken 9, really I think Lars should be the star of it. Jin and Kazuya can have this is something that I brought up quickly. Everyone's focus is on Jin and Kazuya. They fight, we don't know what happens. But you have to remember, Lars and Lei, both of them are also Mishimas. Both of them also have a claim to the throne. If something happens to Kazuya or Jin, you guarantee Lars and Lei is going to be there to pick up the pieces, to carry the mantle. I definitely think Lars should get a lot more character development as well. Maybe they can introduce Zoe, and that could be kind of his rival. Zoe can be what Kazuya is to Jin, his rival, his person that he's trying to go after and one up. Or they could bring back Bruce. Think about that. Kazuya dies or Kazuya is captured, and then Bruce takes up the mantle of G Corporation, and you have Lars trying to find him, trying to hunt him down. I think something like that would just expand the world so much. And it's still about the Mishima clan, but you have other characters who are very close to them also involved. That is what I would want to see. The next one, 33 votes on this, the Hydro members. Now, I was very excited, or I was like really anticipating their return, because these are the ones who are the Devil Gene carriers. These are the ones who know everything about it. So I did kind of want them to return and, give us a little bit of exposition, a little bit of story. But also I feel like that could be bad. If they show up and they give us some made up garbage about the Devil Gene and midichlorians, I think the community is going to hate it. So I kind of want that to be left ambiguous in a sense. I don't want them to just show up and just it not make sense in a way. If they can make these guys show up and either be a real threat or a real force to be reckoned with, I think that would be really cool. Because it's not stated whether they are extinct, whether they died. We don't know. So they could show up at any point in time. I just want it to make sense when they do. 118 votes, a fresh new character. This is the winner. This is the winner. And this one kind of summarizes the whole video. I think a lot of people want to see something new, want to see something different. How many games, movies, TV shows have we gotten where the Mishima Zaibatsus are just punching each other? It's just Jin, Heihachi, and Kazuya in a room punching each other. Every once in a while we'll see Nina, Zhao Yu, or Anna. It's like, that's cool and all, but there's over 80 something characters on the roster. Give us more. I would love to see a new character show up like Lita and be a real force to be reckoned with. I know people don't like when I say it, and I said it probably like 3 times now, but I would love for Lita to be like a powerful character who really can throw down with Jin and Lars, because I feel like that would make the story interesting, to have a character who really has, whether it's technology or whether it's physical, a character who can take down the Mishimas. Really, I think that would be cool, because all the time we've been watching, playing, and loving Tekken, how many times has Jin's life been in danger? How many times have you thought, oh my god, he's gonna die here? Kazuya and Heihachi is a little bit different. I guess you could say in Tekken 6 when he punched Azel, but I feel like that action there was more so him sacrificing himself. I think it will be, it's more impactful when it's not you sacrificing yourself, but it's kind of like your actions catching up with you. Kind of like when Miguel chased down Jin in Tekken 7, and he beat him up, but he was like, okay, I'm gonna let you go and I'm gonna destroy you when you're at your highest of highs. I want to see something like that. I want to see Jin face some serious adversity, whether that's from a Hydro member, whether that's from a fresh new character, or whether Lita comes at him, Asuka comes at him, something. I'm really not a fan of the character who's just super untouchable, like Superman or Goku. I'm more so like a Vegeta. Vegeta is just as powerful, but Vegeta definitely can die. He definitely can get destroyed. Vegeta makes mistakes and he pays for it. Whereas Goku, he can kind of do whatever, whenever, and everything's going to be okay. I like Vegeta more than I like Goku, and I want Tekken to be like a Vegeta. Just deeper in its story and it's like what it's trying to tell us. Ending off the video with some comedy. The top upvoted comment says Gigas, obviously. He was destined to be the protagonist all this time. Under that says, if you think Tekken 8 will resolve the conflict between Kazuya and Jin, you're naive. The game will be the start of another saga spanning 7 to 10 games on its own, and maybe Kazuya will be thrown into a volcano for good in Tekken 17. Under that, they will use Jin for all eternity. Personally, I would love someone new though. And that's pretty much it for this video. The moral of the story, I want them, whether they use Jin, Kazuya, or Lars, or someone new, I just want the story to be deeper. I just want the story to be better, to be a little bit bigger. Not just the Mishimas in the dojo punching on each other and then lights go out and then some jacks show up. No, I want it to be deeper. I want it to be more impactful. I want it to be some twists in there, some turns, some curveballs, some mistakes, some triumphs. But that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video of me talking about Tekken 8 and also Tekken 9. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.